Can I wear this?
You can wear whatever you want. Hi. Welcome to our annual All Aboard event at Homestyle. Thank you, our TransForm family and supporters, near and far, for joining us this afternoon. We so appreciate that you are choosing to spend yet a few more hours in front of a screen to be with us. We've got a jam-packed lineup for you, something like a variety show. Transformers are some very talented people. You'll learn that we love to maximize fun inside and outside of the office. So for you, we have some song, some dance, highlights from our work, field trips on AC Transit and on bikes, and some very special remarks from our brand new executive director, Darnell Grizzly. But I do want to leave you with a few reminders before the show begins. As always, we have an after party after the event. And don't forget, this is also our annual fundraiser. So hoping you can grab a drink, some snacks, and your wallet as we start. Feel free to comment in the chat box where you'll find a link to donate. We want to ground this event in music, so we're starting first with a song from The Unattended, featuring our very own Daryl Davis from our Safe Routes team and Stanley Lamb, our former controller. So without further ado, The Unattended.
Sometimes in life, you need to take a drive just to free your mind. It don't matter what you feel, just take a step inside. I'll grab the wheel and drive tonight. Let me take the long way home. Let me take the long way home. We can take the short way, but you know I'm gonna take it slow. Let me take the long way home. Let me take the long way home. We can take the the show, but you know I'm gonna take it slow. 4:21 in the morning. It don't matter if I'm high, I just got to take a drive. And if you're with me, keep in mind that you won't be alone, 'cause our home is where we roam tonight. Let me take the long way home. Let me take the long way home. We can take the short way, but you know I'm gonna take it slow. Let me take the long way home. Let me take the long way home. We can take the short way, but you know I'm gonna take it slow. But you know I'm gonna take it slow. Let me take the long way home. Let me take the long way home. We can take the short way, but you know I'm gonna take it slow. Let me take the long way home. Let me take the long way home. We can take the short way, but you know I'm gonna take it slow. Let me take the long way home. Let me take the long way home.
All right, let's give it up for the unattended, featuring our Safe Routes to Schools High School Program Specialist, Daryl Davis, and former Transformer, Stanley Lamb. I'm Carrie Harvila. Hi, I'm the Safe Routes to Schools Program Director at Transform, and I'm really happy to be taking a moment to be with everyone tonight, even if it's virtually. And I am also happy to be thanking our sponsors for all aboard. I want to give thanks to EAH Housing, thank you to Silicon Valley Community Foundation, thanks to Waymo, thank you to Housing California, and thank you to Swiftly. I also want to give an extra shout out to Swiftly for also helping us with the technology for tonight's event. Now I want to introduce the rest of the Safe Routes to Schools team. This has been an unusual year, to say the least, for schools in California and throughout the country. And so we want to take some time to share with you how we've been supporting families and schools during the pandemic.
My name is Sean Mullet, and I'm here to represent the Safe Routes to School team here at TransForm. Well, not here at TransForm, since this is virtual and nobody's actually at the, y'all get what I mean. But anyway, TransForm started the Safe Routes to School program at 2 schools in Oakland back in 2006. Now we provide site coordination for more than 250 public schools that are part of the Alameda County Safe Routes to School program. We organize fun, educational activities that help families carpool and take transit to school.
Year, we'd host countywide events with thousands of students like International Walk and Roller School Day, Golden Sneaker Contest, Cocoa for Carpools, and Bike to School Day. Throughout the year, we also promote educational activities like bike and pedestrian safety and free bike maintenance. And families can choose active and shared transportation on a daily basis with the walking school bus groups and bike trains we organize. Now, you may be asking yourself, what does Safe Routes look like when the 2 schools part isn't even happening? We were wondering too, but we quickly got to work. We've adapted our programming to fit the needs of distance learning by encouraging families to get outside and exercise whenever and however they can through socially distant measures, inspiring schools and families to remain active. We're finding that outdoor time and movement are more important than ever for physical and mental well-being. We have also shifted all of our educational programs to be live webinars so that students can stay safe while doing so.
Since August, we've met with principals and caregivers at more than 80 schools, continuing to listen and adapt our programming to fit their needs. Hi, I'm Christy Chu, and I am the School Site Coordinator for the Safe Routes to Schools program at TransForm. I work with 5 different school districts across Alameda, which include Albany, Alameda, Hayward, Newark, and San Lorenzo. We've adjusted International Walk and Roll to School Day to be a week-long event that provides more time and flexibility in how students stay active within their community. Students can easily participate by tracking how often they are active through a digital or physical passport for a chance to win a prize at their school. We've already got 110 schools signed up. To prepare for the event, we have task force meetings with all of our Safe Routes champions, dedicated parents, teachers, and community volunteers. We also have a youth task force meeting comprised of high school students to help students prepare and get their peers at their schools excited about the event. We've gone through a lot of changes this year, but even with distance learning, we've found ways to support the schools and communities within Alameda County. We're thrilled to continue to see so many kids and their families excited about staying active. Thank you so much for listening and for continuing to support us. From your Safe Routes to Schools team at TransForm.
Actually, I think they changed it to International Walk and Roll School. Really? Yeah. Because of all the social distance learning, I guess we have more time to be outside. Is there a time restriction? No. Oh. So what we're doing right now counts? Basically, yeah. And when we walk in home and stuff, that counts too? Yeah. Oh. And I think there are prizes too. Really? Like I know that one student from a registered Safe Routes to Schools elementary school is eligible to win a scooter. Oh, I also heard that registered schools, middle and high schoolers, they can get $50 sporting goods gift cards. Oh, for real? School. For real? Yes. That's crazy.
Here is the Safe Routes to School Passport. At the top of the table, you have all of the activities that you may complete for each day. Under each day, there are little suggestions that you may do to have a little bit more fun, like exploring a new neighborhood or showing off colorful and kooky socks on your walk to or roll.
Make sure to take advantage of slow streets in your neighborhood. At the end of the week, send a photo of your passport to info@alamedacountiesr2s.org or text it to 510-459-4137.
Or you could submit a PDF file to the same email stated before. And automatically after submission, your passport will be entered into a drawing for a free scooter or a free gift card. And for even more fun, you can even post pictures of you doing your activity on Twitter, on Instagram, or even Snapchat. And you can tag the account Alameda Co. Safe Routes to School, SR2S, and use the hashtags Walk to School Day and Walk and Roll Week. And you can also share your photos to the Alameda County Safe Routes to School Facebook group here at facebook.com/Safe Routes to School. Have fun and good luck.
we wouldn't do this.
For real. It's hecka easy.
Hi, I'm Atisha Singh, Development Director with TransForm. Thank you so much for coming. Those of you who are just learning about TransForm, those of you who know us well, and our supporters, thank you for your support. If you know TransForm, then you know that we work on some challenging issues. Skyrocketing housing costs, a transportation system that prioritizes cars over people, cities shaped by a legacy of disinvestment and exclusion. If you know TransForm, you also know that for the past 20 years, we've been combating those challenges and making an impact, transforming transportation policy and land use policy to protect our climate and to advance equity. And our supporters make that possible. So if you haven't donated yet, consider giving and consider becoming a monthly giver. Doing so provides us predictability that helps us focus on our mission that much more. It's easy. You can go to our website, transformca.org, and just click on the big yellow donate button. So I mentioned that we work on serious issues, but something you may not know is we try not to take ourselves too seriously. We have this tradition, for example, of a one-song mid-afternoon dance party that we've been keeping up even as we work remotely. So that spirit of fun is something that we try to incorporate into everything we do. And it is something that you will see in the next performance coming up, which it is my pleasure to introduce this performance from TransForm's staff. So once again, thank you for coming. And thank you for supporting TransForm, and enjoy.
Amazing. Big shout out to Joanne and Brittany, our Transform alum. Next up is a video of our bike ride of Transform Wins that we took a few weeks ago.
Back in March, the shelter-in-place orders took effect and forced our entire staff to work remotely. Our often busy office in downtown Oakland looked like this, and we said goodbye to our space on 14th Street. After several months of not seeing each other in person and the pandemic and the poor air quality keeping us indoors, a few cyclists on staff decided to meet up last week for a casual bike ride. Most of us expected to be riding the North Coast Climate Ride in May, but COVID hit, canceling one of our biggest fundraisers. During our ride, we toured parts of Oakland that Transform has impacted over the past 22 years, as well as spots where there is more to be done.
The first stop was the Lake Merritt BART station. Here we advised the housing developers on what transportation amenities they could offer residents to reduce traffic, and asked the community for feedback on what would make it easier for them to get around the neighborhood and to access the BART station. This is a rendering of the future Paseo that incorporates design feedback from community members.
You can't ride around Oakland without seeing neighbors who are experiencing homelessness. Their hardship is a constant reminder of the urgency to enable the creation of more affordable homes, especially near transit and jobs.
Almost 20 years ago, TransForm started advocating for what's now the Tempo bus rapid transit line, just completed from San Leandro to downtown Oakland. It's beautiful to finally see faster, more frequent, and efficient bus service along International Boulevard, where it is so needed. This is a huge accomplishment for AC Transit and everyone who played a part. Let's hope the next BRT line in the region can happen much faster.
Transform advised on community engagement for the Oakland Bike Plan update in 2018, which won a 2020 Silver Achievement Award for Best Practice from the American Planning Association. The Oakland Bike Plan was the first in the nation we're aware of to call out systemic racism in bike planning and lay out explicit steps to address it. Big shout out to Cycles of Change, Bikes for Life, the Scraper Bike Team, Outdoor Afro, the East Oakland Collective, Alta Planning and Design, Tool Design Group, and Bikey Spay, who made the Oakland Bike Plan strong and for continuing to fight for the bike amenities Oaklanders deserve. We also want to say a special thank you to Lily Brown, who led the team from OakDOT.
A BART train. It's almost like we want this kind of thing to happen more. Yeah, this is our next target right here. That one's gotta go. Specifically says, do not stop on track. Fail.
The one part of that bike ride that I wish we caught on film was when I fell off my bike because I was looking at my phone and I tried to stop suddenly with one hand. It was totally worth it though. Hi everyone, I'm Edie Irons, TransForm's Communications Director, coming to you from my garden with my dog, both of which I have been incredibly grateful for in 2020, even more than usual. Before I introduce our next surprise, I want to make sure folks know about our voter guide for this election that is happening right now. And I want to implore you to vote by November 3rd, preferably as soon as possible. In every election, we like to tell folks how to vote like a transformer, not to try to control you, but to help you make your own decisions with some insight from us on the issues that we work on, all the way down your very long ballot. I want to particularly underscore the importance of voting yes on Prop 15 to bring much needed resources to our communities, our schools, and public agencies, including transit agencies, and also voting yes on Measure RR to save Caltrain if you live in San Francisco, San Mateo, or Santa Clara counties. And check out our complete voter guide if you haven't already after the event. Now, up next is our Policy Advocacy Manager, Haley Currier, to give you all an update on how her work has changed with the coming of the pandemic. And this stuff can get wonky and in the weeds really easily, so she turned it into a song. She had intended this to just be for staff, but when we all saw it, there was no way we were going to keep this from all of you. Enjoy.
When COVID first hit and the economy tanked, it was clear the regional measure was dead. Oh, our coalition was lost. Transit was in crisis and bus drivers were getting COVID on the job. So we organized turned out at MTC. We agitate Scott Haggerty. We just want some masks and hand sanitizer. It seems the transit we depend upon might crumble and fall without more money from the feds. We make calls and we send letters. I facilitate Zoom meetings and we move together in community. We organize turn out at MTC. Agitate Scott Haggerty. Transit needs money, needs money, needs money.
Hi everyone, my name is Jamario Jackson. I'm a senior community planner here at TransForm. Most of my work centers around the neighborhood of East Oakland, and so I'm really excited to share with you a video about the East Oakland Mobility Action Plan. This plan is different than many others, and it's going beyond the assumptions of what transportation may or may not be able to solve by exploring culture, movement, safety, and even street quality, while also providing actionable steps that can be taken to address the needs of folks living, moving, and working in East Oakland. You can follow much of our work on Instagram at East Oakland Mobility. There you can find pictures, videos, announcements about the work that we're doing, and you can also follow a link there to engage with us at future upcoming events. So thank you for being here and enjoy the video.
All East Oaklanders should have access to and choices within a local and regional transportation system that is safe, efficient, and affordable, and connects them to the places they need to thrive.
The East Oakland Mobility Action Plan will focus on efforts to a mobility justice lens centering the people. East Oakland is 22 square miles, home to many creative and innovative residents, many small and large businesses and organizations, public parks, and centers of education. Over half of East Oakland residents live below the poverty level and are exposed to disproportionate health, safety, and economic challenges caused by traditional city planning guided by redlining.
Mobility justice examines the connections between the embodied differences of individuals and the existing transportation system. It's about more than how our systems move people. It's about the quality, experience, and safety of how people get from one place to another. The East Oakland Mobility Action Plan will touch on aspects of everyday life: culture, movement, safety, street quality.
Culture provides a deep source of pride and joy that gives life to a person, place, or thing. Much of Oakland's unique culture stems from the soil of East Oakland and permeates every part of transportation, from how people build and swag out their rides, where and how people express themselves, to how public space is used. All mobility efforts must respect and celebrate the authentic cultures of East Oakland.
To make ends meet, people here in East Oakland are either traveling far distances to jobs or relying on entrepreneurialism and side hustles. People make complex trade-offs when choosing how to travel too, like driving, taking the bus, or walking. They have to consider long travel times, personal responsibilities, and personal comfort. Planning needs to improve access to economic opportunities and leisure through better transportation services.
Everyone needs to be and feel safe and secure to thrive. East Oaklanders often are not and do not feel safe, which negatively impacts their mental health and their ability to thrive. Many of these issues are structural and play out on Oakland streets. Hazards experienced by communities in transportation systems can be resolved by listening to a community's needs and making the necessary changes.
East Oakland has seen historic disinvestment for many decades. Almost 2/3 of streets in Oakland are in bad shape, which results in high vehicle maintenance costs for residents. While Oakland has recently changed its policies to prioritize paving residential streets, sidewalks, landscaping, and drainage infrastructure, they are still often in poor repair. Planning should focus on prioritizing underinvested infrastructure.
You should be able to celebrate the way you celebrate. Move the way you need to move. Feel safe in your community and get to where you need to go. We are the City of Oakland, Department of Transportation.
We are East Oakland Collective.
We are TransForm.
We are Just Cities. This is the East Oakland Mobility Action Plan. This is mobility the East Oakland way.
For more information, visit our website at www.oaklandca.gov/projects/East Oak Map. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at OakDot, #East Oakland Map, or email us at eastoakmap@oaklandca.gov.
Welcome again, everyone, to TransForm's All Aboard virtual event. I am Craig Davini, Operation Manager here at TransForm. I am coming to you from my home office and workroom in San Francisco in the Castro. I'm a collector of vintage toys, as you can see displayed behind me. I hope you catch a glimpse of something that brings a smile to your face as much as it does for me. I am here today to introduce a wonderful group of singers to you. Voices, Lesbian A Cappella for Justice. Voices is a group of singers in Oakland's queer community. They have been supporting social justice movements in the Bay Area since 1988. You can find TransForm's very own communications director, Edie Irons, in the first seat, second row, wearing a hat and bow tie. Edie's lovely wife, Proga, is just below her on the bottom left. Their performance tonight is an amazing song written by Voice's very own Mandy Hugh. You can find Mandy in the top row, first seat, just above Edie. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful performance and it inspires you to support TransForm's fundraising ambitions tonight. Thank you.
This is take 69. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
me, do you? Oh, oh, in the pocket watch you bought me. You take your time, you say I know what I want. You never make me feel bad about my body, do you?
Could we go on this way? We sailed 1,000 miles. Let's just pretend to wind. Could we go on this way? Don't tell me that this is temporary. You hold my head when I'm feeling melancholy. You move your hands and I forget where I'm from. You never make me feel bad about my body, do you? Just take me out for a ride in your Ferrari. Let's fall asleep in the back of your car. You never make me feel bad about my body, do you?
Good morning, everyone. It's Nina Rizzo. I manage green trip certifications at TransForm. And I'm standing outside here with this cute little 3-story pink building behind me. And the reason for that is because it's a zero parked building. And also, for me, I love it because it was where I had my very own first studio apartment. Now, what's exciting about it is the same reason as why Green Trip buildings are exciting, is because Green Trip supports multifamily buildings that are built in smart locations with traffic reduction strategies such as right-sized parking and unbundled parking. As cities, we need to be building like a variety of housing types for a variety of people. You know, there are youth that are too young to drive, elderly that can't drive anymore, people like me who couldn't afford a car, people like my brother and my uncle who just don't want a car, period. And cities can build a variety of housing types so that people at a variety of life stages and lifestyles can thrive. And as you saw in the video of Transformers biking, the Nautilus Group project at Telegraph and 51st also has unbundled parking. It has a parking ratio of 0.75, which means 3 out of every 4 units would have parking, but they'll be unbundled. So if someone comes along and doesn't want a parking spot, no problemo. They don't have to pay for it. That project's also going to offer transit passes or car share memberships and work with folks to get Bay Area bike share there eventually. So anyway, that was a fun project. We have other projects coming down the pipeline with Green Trip, but for now, I'll just keep it at that. Thanks, everyone. And I'm on the 12 bus for AC Transit. It's the first time I've taken public transit since shelter-in-place started in March. And what I realized is I didn't have to pay to get on. I had my Clipper card ready and I didn't need to use it. I am now the only person on the bus. One woman just got off in downtown Oakland. And it's a very surreal experience. I'm wearing an N95 mask with a valve because the air quality is super duper bad. It's the day after the sky was orange. And so I have to wear another facial cloth on top of it so that I keep other people safe. I don't know what else there is to say except thank you, AC Transit, for continuing to run so that I didn't have to walk an hour and a half through bad air.
Hello, everyone. My name, I'm live, so I did not have the opportunity to record my video, so I ask that you all bear with me. Before I get started, I want to display my Transform t-shirt that I'm sure tons of people heard me earlier when this event first started, asking if this was okay to wear. So I just want to say hello. My name is Joy Massey. I've been a transformer at Transform for now over 2 years. And I also want to say thank you to all of the attendees who are online watching us all live on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today, I'm going to talk about a project that I help manage at Transform. But before I get started, I kind of want to share why I'm doing what I'm doing and why this work is so important to me. Growing up in the Bay Area, Berkeley, California, my entire life, I was born and raised on public transportation. My mom currently does not have a driver's license. She really gets around by walking, AC Transit, Uber, Lyft. And so to be able to lead a project that is really meeting the needs of residents who look like me, who are living in similar situations that I've experienced, just means a lot. And it allows me to bring my expertise to the work as well. So the name of the project, Car Sharing and Mobility Hubs, an Affordable Housing Pilot. You'll hear me refer to this project moving forward as Mobility Hubs, but this is the mouthful of the project. This is my team, who I would not literally be here presenting without the support and effort of David Beezer, who's a planner at Green Trip, and also Adria Staber, who we work very closely day in, just really trying to guide and develop this project. So shout outs to the Mobility Hubs team. What is the Mobility Hubs Pilot Project? So over now 2.5 years ago, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, MTC, and Transform received a grant from the California Air Resources Board, CARB, to design and implement 3 mobility hubs in 3 different cities, Oakland, San Jose, and Richmond, in which we plan to offer electric vehicle car sharing with supporting charging infrastructure, as well as some other micromobility options, including bike share, scooter share, looking at how to offer transit passes, and more to really meet the need of residents in these communities. I'll say this now, and I'll probably say it again, this project is really rooted in the community. It's not your typical transportation planning project. We started this project off with what we called a community transportation needs assessment, where we did exactly what the title says. We really assessed the needs of the residents, the unique needs of these residents at each of our sites. Not only challenges that they have with existing transportation, but also to understand what's working, what's not working, and to really hear from them to help shape how we offer the various services that I just mentioned. So I'll just say this to my Mobility Hubs team online. We know that this project is a pilot within a pilot, within a pilot, within a pilot, like within a pilot, right? Because there's so much that we are trying to figure out and really build a sustainable model. You can see some information about our sites here on the screen. I'll bear you some of those details, but definitely also want to take time to shout out our partners for this project: MTC, CARB, eBaltzy, Richmond Community Foundation, City of Richmond, First Community Housing, City of Oakland, Department of Transportation, and more. And this presentation will really focus on how we've adapted during COVID. The needs assessment was pre-COVID. The project kind of design was pre-COVID, and now we're in a tumultuous time. So how is our team adapting? As I said earlier, this project is rooted deep in the community, and so we have what we call site level teams at each of our sites, which are a group of residents, 8 to 12 residents, who guide the work that we do. They check us. They tell us what's right, what's wrong, if the needs assessment survey is too long, like they're really our sounding board. And we value their expertise. We value their lived experience. We really are leaning on them to guide what we do. And so we've engaged these residents in the pre-COVID, again, in-person meetings. And this is our first attempt. And shout out to Adria for really managing and organizing this project, or this, meeting. This is our first virtual site level team meeting. What you see here is a group of lovely faces, residents, some of our site partners, myself, my team, Sean Mullen. What you don't see is the work that kind of is in the background that really made sure that residents could show up and participate. What I mean by that is we had childcare going on a separate Zoom line. We had interpretations, live interpretation services being offered during this meeting. Really tried to think through and understand before even having this meeting, hearing from residents, what are some barriers that might not, that could prevent you from participating? And so really listened, and we're currently adapting how we do this. COVID, it hit us and I was like, oh yeah, this project is doomed. But it wasn't, it's not. We are still moving forward with our implementation efforts. As you can see here, these are some bike racks that were installed outside of our San Jose project site, Betty Ann Gardens. This was all done, like, I would say first couple of months of COVID. The picture on your top right of the screen are actually Lyft bikes. So we're working with Lyft to hopefully have ongoing deployment of bikes outside of this property, hopefully also Oakland, and working very closely with the City of Richmond with their mobility provider there. So we're still moving forward with our implementation. Some more implementation wins during COVID, Gig Car Share, which provides hybrid car share services in Oakland, did not have any services being offered in East Oakland, deep East Oakland, right? And so they apply through the City of Oakland to have an expanded home zone. At one point, that home zone was super close, maybe three blocks away from our site in East Oakland. And we worked with Gig to really advocate for the home zone to now be located directly adjacent to our Oakland project site. So that's a win that happened during COVID. I'll also highlight that you see at the bottom of your screen a logo from Envoy, which is a car share company that we recently selected, the project team, to be the car share provider, the electric vehicle car share provider for our San Jose site, Betty Ann Gardens. So again, COVID hit us. I was completely like, yeah, not sure what's gonna happen. And we continue to see wins. This is what keeps me going. The people keep us going. The people who we're serving keep us going. Seeing just people still trying to put effort into really offering these services for residents is really also just what keeps this project and us going. So what's next for Mobility Hubs? We want to continue to implement the services that I mentioned above, which again are being tailored by the needs of the residents, and also trying to understand how those needs have shifted since COVID has started. Transportation looks different for people right now. We want to acknowledge that. I'll also add that for each of these services that you have here, we really want to provide ongoing community engagement for residents. So not just dropping off electric vehicles, right? And not coupling that with tailored outreach and kind of marketing materials, and really providing that knowledge about some of these services. So those are some updates and how the Mobility Hubs team has adapted. Sean Mullen, do not kill me. You are a part of the Mobility Hubs team as well. And again, thank you all. Thank you all. Cheers for me, it's water, but hopefully everyone else can raise a glass during our fundraiser. And I will now pass it over to our board member, Paolo.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paolo Kozlitz-Schwartz, and I'm a co-chair of the TransForm Board of Directors. I've been on the board for nearly 6 years now, and even though I wish we could all be together in person for this event, I want to thank you for being here virtually with us this year. I'd also like to shout out our Mobility Hubs team and recognize all of our staff for their amazing work and talents on display today. It's been quite a year for all of us in our personal and professional lives, and the same goes for TransForm. But we're ready to move into a new chapter, and our mission of connecting people to places and opportunity through equitable transportation and secure housing feels more urgent and important than ever. Not only are we dealing with a deadly pandemic, but our transit agencies are facing existential crises, a looming rash of evictions threatens housing security for many, and fire season is a term that we're all learning and having to learn in the age of rapid climate change. Yet, we're in the streets demanding racial justice. We're going to the polls in record numbers, and people across the country are fighting every day for a better future. We have an opportunity, perhaps now more than ever, to reshape the way people get around, to ensure that justice is centered in how we reopen and rebound, and to make headway like never before on the bold solutions TransForm is known for. So please, I ask you to join me in making an additional gift of support for TransForm now. There's a link in the chat to make it super easy. Any gift makes a big difference, whether it's $10 or $10,000. So thank you again for being here and for your generous support of TransForm. Speaking of new chapters, I'm excited to introduce the person who will lead us there. After a thorough and collaborative search involving our board and staff, we are thrilled about the outcome of this process and to introduce our new executive director. He is a national thought leader in transportation policy and the mobility justice movement. He is a California native who will be returning to the West Coast after several years in DC. Welcome back to the best coast. He's bringing many years of experience from the American Public Transportation Association, as well as roles in the California legislature and the private sector. I've also gotten to know him over the past few weeks during the search process, and I'm thrilled to welcome him into the TransForm community. It is my pleasure to introduce the next Executive Director of TransForm, Darnell Grisby.
Thank you, Paolo, for that introduction, and to the entire board and staff for this opportunity. I'm humbled to be with you tonight and entrusted as a voice within our movement. I grew up in the very type of community most impacted by systemic injustice. These communities are designed to disempower voices like mine. My family has been affected for generations by interlocking systems of oppression rooted in failed and misguided investments in our urban spaces. Those decisions cost my family economic opportunity, polluted our community, made housing unaffordable, and underfunded our transit, while forcing us to use streets without trees or adequate shade on a warming planet. I had to cross a freeway on-ramp on my walk to school. My response to growing up this way was to learn how power gets used against our communities and how policy can oppress and trap the minds and bodies of millions into a system that is difficult to escape from. You see, I believe that you and I were brought together as a movement at this unique time in history to confront these injustices. Millions of Americans, probably many of you, have taken to the streets to confront institutions in power this year like never before. The movement has empowered us and invigorated us. Despite the pain of this pandemic and the policies that are cooking our planet, impoverishing our people, and eroding our great nation's standing in the world. But it's our collective power that can create the change that we need. It is community that will protect us during difficult times. That is why I must thank Stuart Cohen for founding this organization that has made such a real impact, and for building such a strong culture that will stand the test of time. I want to thank Jeff Hobson for his stewardship during the transition, and all the other staff who have stepped up during this time. And I want to thank all of you for your support, not just today, but over the years and into the future. I'm looking forward to getting to know you and working together. Through explicitly anti-racist policy, we will confront the interlocking systems of oppression that underlie so many of our transportation and housing investments and policies. We will create a more equitable society right here in California. I'm looking forward to being back in my home state, where we have a unique ability to show the rest of the nation what is possible. Together, we will show that mobility and housing justice will be the backbone of a vital, equitable community that will restore the health of our planet and our people. Thank you.
Hi folks, Jeff Hobson here. As TransForm's second employee back in 1998, I helped grow and run the organization for several years. And this year, coming back as interim executive director, I've had the opportunity to work with this terrific group of people in a very challenging year. COVID has affected all of our work for economic as well as health reasons. Police murders of Black people have forced many of us to acknowledge how deeply white supremacy pervades our lives and our work, and how inadequate our responses have often been. TransForm's tough financial year meant we lost 3 longtime staff, plus there's fires and smoke and nightmarish national politics. Like many of you, I'm ready for 2020 to be over. But one bright spot in this year is that we get to welcome Darnell Grisby as TransForm's new leader. So I want to tell the rest of you what I said to him in our first conversation after he took the job. Darnell, you embody the evolution TransForm needs to make, centering our work more clearly in justice while also keeping our wonky policy chops. Your years of policy experience in Sacramento and DC, your commitment to community, your insights into how to craft an anti-racist policy agenda for mobility justice and decarbonization of transportation. You are the change TransForm needs to be. As someone who's shepherded TransForm's past and am totally committed to its future, I'm very much looking forward to me stepping back as you step forward to shape TransForm's next chapter. And speaking of stepping out of the way, let me introduce one last song from Clarissa Cabinsagan, our Director of Programs. And while she plays, the rest of you, please consider supporting TransForm in this talented team as we move into this new chapter together.
Tiny desk concert. Welcome to my tiny desk. I don't know what it is you done to me. It's caused me to act in such a crazy way. Whatever it is that you do when you do what you're doing, it's a feeling that I don't understand. 'Cause my heart starts beating triple time with thoughts of loving you on my mind. I can't figure out just what to do when cause and cure is you. makes me weak. It's time after time after time I've tried to fight it, but your love is strong, it keeps on holding on. Resistance is down when you're around, it starts fading. My condition, I don't wanna be alone, 'cause my heart starts beating triple time with thoughts of loving you on my mind. I can't figure out just what to do when the cause and cure is you. I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak, I lose all control. Something takes over me in a daze, and it's so amazing, it's not a phase. I want you to stay with me by my side. I swallow my pride, your love is so sweet, it knocks me right off of my feet. I can't explain why your love, it makes me weak. I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak, I lose all control. Something takes over me in the days, and it's so amazing, it's not a phase. I want you to stay with me by my side. I swallow my pride, your love is so sweet, it knocks me right off of my feet. I can't explain, I can't explain why your love, it makes me weak.
Hi, everyone. Give it up one more time for Clarissa Kabensagen for her Tiny Desk concert and her cover of Weak. I want to say hello, first of all. My name is Dave Severy. I'm the development director, and I'm coming to you live from the Transform office here in downtown Oakland. And I first want to just thank you all again for being here with us tonight. And I want to invite you to make your way over to our after party as we'll wrap up this side of the program. And so, yeah, please do join us at the Zoom link that is in the chat now. And yeah, we can connect with each other a little bit more casually. We'll hang out, listen to some more music, and raise a glass. So as we close out this this YouTube stream and head over to Zoom, I'll leave you with a little bit more music here. But first, I want to just give a major thanks to Ann Hildebrand from Swiftly for all of the support on the tech side of things tonight. And also to our sponsors, again, our board members. And lastly, thank you to Darnell for being with us before you are officially starting on your first day, which is Monday. So thank you again. Welcome to Transform, and we hope to see you at the after party. All right.
Trouble.